What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the video from the Demon Overlord. Today we're going to be going over an action figure. One from the company known as Neca, who also is involved with the Pathfinder miniatures from D&D, which I have reviewed on this channel many times of their product, as well as WizKids and Wizards of the Coast. So check those out if you guys want to. So which figure today? This is one I've actually been sitting on. I've had it for like a little over a month now, and I kept backburning it. Why? Well, because I had to make it one of these. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's a blast. What creature do I need to create a blast attack piece for? Well, here he is. Godzilla in the special Godzilla vs. Biollante poster art box. I was glad enough to find this when I was getting my vaccine, actually, at a Rite Aid. My Johnson & Johnson, and I'm pretty glad about this. I mean, look at the sides. Very nice detail. On the back here, we have the big G. And then we have some information, which we'll do like a good first sentence. With a supercharged blast, a new Godzilla emerges from its own ashes, ready to take on Tokyo. That's just the first one. It does have a nice little openable door. That way you can see inside. Now we're going to get into this. The sort of opening is going to have some fun. We're going to open this boy up. Cut him up. There we go. Now, let's get into it and take a look at this terrifying Godzilla from the Heisei period at his most powerful. Okay, so we just got him out of the box. Let's take a look at the big G here and see how it looks. I gotta say, I like what I see here. He's a good 6-inch tall figure with a lovely length. I always find it funny. Now, let's go with the paint job on him. I do wish they kind of continued the more down the tail. That's all a lot of people complain about. They complain about how the tail, as you can see, is more of the standard color. There isn't a ball joint there, which is good. We have a little bit of some rotational ability to his tail there, as you can see. Allows it to rotate pretty good. A whole 360 of spin. Nice. I mean, if you have his spikes like this, you've obviously gone weird. So I mean, but it's great for posing. His tail here is a wire, so you actually got to bend it. Eventually, these will wear down on you, and over time, the wires do have their limitations of how far they'll bend before they break. So always keep caution of that. How hard? If it's like, I think that's as much bend like of a curl we're gonna get naturally. Yeah, the end of the tail right here is like there's no wire in that. So the wire ends right about here. Right behind the finger there is where it ends. So, see all the left. Now it is just a ball and socket joint. Just slap it on there. Press it in. Gotta take a little bit of force. This is brand new. I have not used it, or opened it, so I haven't really played with it all that much. It's gonna have to be kind of broken in. There we go. Bend his tail a little more natural, just like laying down on the ground, like behind him, like you would see in the movies. Slash get a little curl at the end. There we go. As you can see, though, he is pretty impressive in length. He's a pretty long boy. Got some good arm movements. We got some nice swivel action here going on. Arm can fully rotate. Got a little bit right there at the bicep, tricep area. We'll do another little spin. Flex his arm out. It's got a little hinge there. Got the wrist. Spins all the way. Does have a little bit of motion. We also have these lovely claws. We can get his hands to kind of curl in a little bit. Kind of wish they curled a little bit more. You can get a fist on there, but I don't think Godzilla ever makes a fist in combat. He usually scratches and strikes with his clawed hands. Got some pretty good motion there. You don't need a ton of motion as far as the arms. Like, I mean, if you want to have the whole victory pose, claiming that victory going on, winner. Oh, gee, son. Got some movement on the legs here. We can rotate those a whole entire spin. Kind of see a little bit of a gap when you slip like that, but if you're putting his leg like that for his pose, what the heck are you doing? Big G don't need that, but you know, full thing. We got some leg joints here. They're a little bit tough. They're a little bit fresh. Like I said, they're tight, but you know, got at least this much bend. He was big chungus legs. This one's a little bit tighter than the other side. There we go. And if you want to have him here doing I just realized I made him do that kind of pose, and it's just a little bit weird. Not really sure why I did that. I just realized, I mean, yeah, you could have him standing on his tiptoes. Feet, for instance, have a little bit of forward. It will spin a whole 360. Not much sideways motion, but with Godzilla, like I said, the Heisei period, which, yes, this is a Heisei period Godzilla. He's not really going to have much, which I pushed him so hard that I popped his tail off. Yeah, it's a ball joint tail. It's not made for... I wouldn't really say this is really a play toy. Like, I'm not giving this to a kid to play with because, A, these things are hard to get once they get bought by scalpers and resold. Especially during this time of their existence. It gets feet nice and, there we go, nice and second. There we go. Oh, actually, I think I got it a little better that time. So there we go. He is now ready to walk around Tokyo, or a nice cool model setup, and just go to town. So, I mean, the big G is the big G. He's always been that. Here's the stomach and all that. You can turn whole 360. Careful with the spikes. They're a little bit like soft, but you know, that's so they probably don't also have a sharp edge. They're pretty pointy, but they're not too pointy. I'm not going to think you're going to sharpenly stab yourself. There's a close up of the face there. Focus. There we go. As you can see, we have a lovely continuation of that paint job with the translucent sort of body here. Not really see anything wrong with this paint job on the face. Like I'm not seeing any overpaint, which is always good. Let's see. His mouth opens. Oh, that's pretty good mouth opening right there. That's pretty good. I like the more mouth open Godzilla look. I'm changing the adjustments of the camera. His head will not turn a full 360 because this neck piece right here, the neck piece itself has a little bit of wiggle. His head won't turn all the way, but like, you know, you wanted to have him look up. He looks up probably about like that far. So not much, mostly just to look forward. But when it comes to this version of Godzilla, this is also the biggest he's ever been in the Heisei period. So there weren't too many monsters he was looking up on, except for maybe Destroya. Destroya was a jerk. Who tried to kill Junior. Who does that? Now, I like how his mouth opens. Very nice. I mean, right here is enough to make him a good pose on a board or on a shelf. I think this is actually probably the pose I'm going to put him on if I was going to put him on a shelf. A little bit slightly turned body. Arms not too off. There we go. Right about chest high. And as you can see, he looks pretty darn good. Now, let's go with the translucency figure, or feature. I want to say figure, but that's weird. Get the flashlight here. Put that on his skin. As you can see, it will light up his skin there. You can get it through the front, back. So if you wanted to set up some lighting features in this bad boy, you could. As well for the spines as well. Like I said, I kind of wish they'd gone all the way down the back with the spine coloration, at least to the last part of the tail, maybe. Might have been better. I mean, I love the sculpt. The design looks good on him. I actually don't complain that he's different than the figure arts figure. And I mean, the figure arts is way too expensive. I'm just glad I could find this guy for a good price. Now, the one thing he does not come with is a breath weapon. I actually made this. I thanks to some YouTubers on the internet who actually made these. I never made a breath effect before like this. So literally it's just a straw with some hot glue. They say leave it open. Don't fill it with hot glue because it'll actually make it too heavy to fit in his mouth. Let's see if this will fit. I have not tried putting it in his mouth yet because it's the first I've opened him. Close his mouth just enough that it's like kind of biting into the stream of flame. That in there right. Kind of angled in there. Oops. Angled in there. Another reason not to solidify it makes it too hard. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. He has the breath effect now. It's a little bit long. This thing's like a 7.5 inch long breath effect. Unfortunately, due to the fact he can't raise his head much higher, it's going to be kind of hard to get this to aim up and hit a kaiju of some sort. So, but as you can see, it's not bad. I don't hate it. It's not the best stream effect of flame. I'm not a professional Neca producer of fire effect for their Godzilla, but as you can see, it will sit in his mouth and it will fire out of it. It does look like it's coming out of there the way it goes back in the mouth, which is good. Take that out of there. His teeth will kind of wear on it after a while, so don't be too worried if you see a little wear and tear. It's not designed to fit in his mouth perfectly, because when you make these things, you want them to be a little bit bulkier so they actually fit. We do have the nice little double row of teeth. Let me get that zoomed in on his head. There we go. As you can see, he's got the 2 rows of teeth there. Very nice. Good tongue detail. With my glue from the thing was in there. He's got very nice facial details going on. I think this, in my opinion, is a very good figure if you're not looking to spend the Monster Arts price. You can always bend his hand stuff, which is always nice. He's got good amounts of articulation for me for standing on the shelf. Yeah, I think he looks pretty good. Actually, I just realized this is actually a nice position to look at him from my camera, because actually it looks like I'm looking down from the helicopter, which is where a lot of people were doing, because couldn't really get close to the big G. He would have vaporized you. That atomic energy radiating from that extra radiation gets absorbed. And honestly, I do like him. He looks really good. Let me just fix his tail curl a little bit there. There we go. Just to make it a little bit better. There we are. I mean, I think they actually measure this thing by the whole length. I think he's like 12 inches from head to or top of the head down through the tail. But from foot to head, he's 6 inches. I mean, this blast is an inch or so taller than him. So, yeah. I might shorten this thing out too. You can always shorten these out with them being, let's just give them a cut shorter, make them a little shorter. Wouldn't be too bad. I might make it a 5-incher. But yeah, pretty cool. I like the Big G like this. This is a pretty nice figure. It's got a lot of detail in them, a lot of nice paint job. I'm not seeing any like overpaint where it's kind of going where it shouldn't be. For the spots where they meant to. I mean, the spikes on the side here, I wish they had a little bit more color in these side dorsal plates, but, or these little mini spikes. They use some more color there, but they don't have them on the back, so it is at least consistent. But now that I think of, actually, no, now that I think about it, with Heisei Godzilla, he didn't have those colors. Those are just like the back of his neck, they're just a row. Yeah, but really nice. I do like it. So if you do set up an LED effect on this guy, you could have some cool light coming in from the side that people would see him on. He does have the nice forward look on him, like it looks like he's staring forward at something he's about to fight and destroy it. In this case, being Destroya. And his head, he can look down, which is good if you put him next to the Junior figure. And he's looking down at Junior. I mean, you can try to position him a little bit better. Yeah, that's probably about as much down as he gets with his look. But, so that's the Big G 65th anniversary Destroya box version of the Big G, same as the others. I think he's also the same sculpt as the Space Godzilla one, just literally they reused it and then they gave him a red paint job. But this guy looks pretty good. I like him. This is also my favorite generation of the Godzilla was Heisei. It was my top favorite. I did love him in that series. He was so much more aggressive, but also showed emotion at the right times. Heck, this is the one that cried over the loss of a son. So, respects to the Godzillas. Respects to the Big G. And I know for all the Kong fans out there, probably like, oh, Godzilla love video. Hey, you know what? The Big G is the Big G. You can't say he's awesome. Shouldn't even be watching kaiju movies. That's how the Demon Overlord feels. But plus, he uses fire, so he's a Chad in my book. I like to use the elemental flames as well to burn my enemies. How much do you think I keep Orcus in line? That savage with his undead. Well, anyway, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I definitely recommend doing so. Keeps you updated on all the notifications for any videos I release in the future, whatever they happen to be on, whether it's a talk, review, or etc. And if you do like the video, give it a thumbs up. Helps keep the channel seen by others. Gives it a little more attention. And leave a comment down below if you have any questions, comments, or ideas. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for today. Have a great one, and bye-bye.